some reason. Maybe the height is off or something. I don't know. Let me see. I don't like any dead air. So I'm going to have to leave it like this right now unless I try to set it up better like this. That's better. A little more room maybe. Back a little bit further. Hopefully it doesn't. Alright. Deal with that. This cushion's alright. It's 1:45. I gotta do a recap. I'll do it in about 3 minutes. And then we'll get to the story at 2 as always. Prior to, we have a drink. Hey Frank, what up, bud? I didn't do that this afternoon. I'll get to it. I'll probably do it tomorrow. Most definitely. Good, because I was shaking and so worried, bro. I was like this. I hope he doesn't get mad. Let's have a pre-reading smoke. Yeah, I'll get it done. You know that. Probably tomorrow. Today I went into a mid-afternoon poker game. I just got knocked out. 100 and something out of 700. I made a few tournament points. That's about it. So far this month, though, I'm only playing a week, and I've won $115 so far. Not bad for a week's work. I'm playing poker, having fun. I got a couple of things that I'm trying to remember if I don't think I did it before, and now I lost it. I don't know. I'll remember as I go. We'll just wait it out. See if anybody else shows up before 2. If not, me and you, dog. Hey, do you think, like, remember I said this to you once before, and I'm not sure. This was like right before we got the green screen. Like when I'm doing the book, right? If I just do a video, let's say on the side, like with this, and I send it to you. Like, let's say the part of the book I'm reading is about my mother being in the bathroom huddled between the tub. Is there any way for you to put that in the background and follow along with the story, with the shit I say, and I'll tell you how to do it and what to do if you need that guidance? Or at least a little advice on what the situation was at the time? Because I got a vivid memory of almost everything in this book. Pretty vivid. That's the 2 stories I just remembered. Where did I write it? Charlie Calco's story? Here it is. All right, I found it. I got to do this way. Just so I don't forget. Hey, Tech Help, how are you? Nice to have you here. Scuff Baby, here he is. Waiting on the Scuff man, always. He always shows up. You're a good man, Scuffed. We appreciate you. I'm not looking for anything extra to do. I have a mountain of work in my... All right. Hey, dog, it's worth a shot asking. The worst you can say is you can't do it now. I appreciate it, though, buddy. It's all good. I'm sure you're going 20 hours a day doing shit. I got you. No biggie. It's all good. It's all good. We'll be starting in a few minutes. I'll do the recap at 5:02, which is now 1:49. 6 minutes, I'll do the recap. And then, as always, 2 o'clock, I'll start the reading of the prayer, and then we'll go from there. Oh, I will be dude, if you put piles of shit behind my head and wrote, his book sucks, he's an asshole, I'd still be good with it. Because the way you do this shit, bro, you're fucking excellent. I hope people go to the page and check out all your shit, bro. Now, the guy's an artist. He does some crazy shit with the online stuff. Just look at the 2 videos he did with me. They're fucking awesome. Nah, it was slightly better than that? Good, good. Hey, I don't doubt it. I can't see you going backwards. It's hard out here. muggy. I wish it wasn't so hot out in the yard. I'd set this shit up out there, do it in the sun. Red! My man Red showed up. How are you, Red? He's an ass. There you go, Red. Now you... That's publicity, Red. People are going to want to know, why is he an asshole? Love it. How are you, Red? There's no disgruntled employees on this site. Everybody loves it. Muse, what up, Muse? All right, and I'm glad all you guys are here, because we hit the next 2 stories. Ron, I got it written down. I'll tell you. You'll see. It's starting to get bad for me back then. Somebody knew why you were an asshole. But you, yeah. You tell him, Red. Loving every minute of it. I'm always good, man. For the most part. Just pains. But right now I'm nice. See? Nice. Mellow. I didn't think the algorithm favors glorifying criminal behavior and drug use. I doubt it. But you want to see my care level about that? It's way down here. The algorithm's not going to send it. It's not going to send it, dude. It's not meant for children. It's not meant if you don't want to fucking listen to raw stories, raw true stories. Then, you know, when I put, I love my mommy and daddy, it still doesn't go further than the algorithm. The algorithm doesn't take it anywhere else. Well, I've always been on my own, Frank. We are. Solo riders, baby. I firmly believe that if I get some people, and I'm getting new people that are actually watching, because I go back and I look at the numbers. The numbers are going up on the reviews of the other of the previous lives and stories. So that means people are going back to watch them, which means it's getting out there, which means we're doing what we got to do, and it's working. The stories are that raw that, you know, even people that don't like it tell somebody about it. So I don't see where that's bad. Oh, because he's off the wall. I don't know how good they are all the time. I'm talking, you know, don't go by the stuff on the top, the subscribers and shit like that. Go by who's there when he's on. Yeah, I'm not worried about that shit, bro. All it takes with this shit for me and Frank is one publisher, one person who knows somebody who's willing to put up the funds to do this. See, what I'm supposed to be doing really is have my Cash App up there and asking people, listen, I want to get to $2,000 so I can publish the book, get it edited and all that kind of shit. And have people donate $1 at a time. I'll get there faster than me doing it on my own. I don't do it because, I don't know, I'm lazy, I guess. I don't know. I just hate asking for money. So, you know what I mean? But that's what I'm supposed to be doing. There should be my Cash App up there with me saying, I want to get published. If you like the stories, you know, throw $1, 50 cents. It don't matter. And whatever you want to donate, get me to 2,000. And prove every day by putting it in my PayPal and just showing everybody it go up. Every day till we hit the $2,000 and I'll publish it. No problem with me. I'm thinking the supercomputer is reading chat at the same time as the streamer. It must favor his channel based on the chat interaction and the subject matter is appearing wholesome. Well, that's never going to work for me. Not this. I get wholesome when I start book 2. Some people ask, some people kick in doors. I get you. Right, exactly. You got it, Red. Muse said, I'm thinking BC, he has it monetized and the stream is vertical format. YouTube wants him to be seen because he is making money off the monetization. We're talking about KOP? I think that's what you're talking about, Muse. I don't know. I have no idea. Because I'm not monetized. Not on here. Yeah, I figured that. Thank you. Just for clarifying. I appreciate it. All right. Where's my other book? I got to do the recap. All right. Time for me to get serious. You guys jammer away. What'd you say, Red? Ron isn't monetized. No, not yet. I looked at what it takes. You need like 1 million people or some shit to really get anything. Anyway, here's the recap from yesterday. First, Dad died. Very upsetting. Doesn't sound like it now, but it was also 1982. So, long time ago. Still got a little emotional talking about it. I talked about crazy Uncle Vinny, one of my family members. I'll cut your titties off, Michelle. Fucking nut job. Beat up a 90-year-old woman. Probably write a book just about that side of the family. And I talked about me getting away with stealing the car, and the car owners ended up getting a beating and leaving the neighborhood, like within a few days. Never to come back. Which is pretty crazy, being that I'm the one who started the whole fucking thing. Again, like I said in the beginning of the book, and now, somehow, someway, all through these years, I just keep getting away with shit. I robbed the kid's wallet, no problem. I rob a house, beat the guy up with my, well, we beat him up and punch him a few times with my friend, we get out, nothing happens. I mean, no matter what I do, it seems like nothing happens to me. And the few times that I have been arrested up to this point, I'm a minor. So every time I got caught with whatever it was, I know there was about 10 times up to this point already where I was in a stolen car, but it got knocked down and thrown out because I was a minor. I was in the back seat. There was a few with weed and drugs and pills, and there were a few assaults in there too. And they all got thrown out because I was a minor. They send me to court. They tell me pay a fine. I never pay it, and I move on. All right. No commercials, baby. That's right, Red. And you left me a bit fast. All right. I'm gonna do a chapter I wrote. And what I wrote, how I feel about this chapter is what I won't do to get some cash. And that's what this chapter is about, pretty much. What lengths I won't go to, no matter what the fucking situation. The name of this is L'Amours. If you see the picture, when you see the picture of this, I put the picture from the 80s of the front of L'Amours. It says L'Amours Rock Club on it. Going to L'Amours. It was just another Friday night. I left my house at my usual 10 minutes to 5 and headed now to Bay 31st and Bath because now this was my corner. I was no longer dealing on 24th Avenue and McDonald's because I almost got arrested there and we had a big blowout. Anyway, my hours were 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. and anyone who smoked angel dust in the neighborhood and some people outside of the neighborhood knew just where I would be. I had a very good and very steady business. At the time, I was selling dimes of dust still. I'm stupid. In order to be prepared for the rush crowd on the weekend, the night before, or that day, I would take a trip to Harlem at this point. There were usually 3 different ways I could get there. One was with the boys, which meant asking Neil to drive. When I went this way, we would end up smoking half of what I bought before the next day. The second way was to steal a car, and Billy and I would go together. We would get stoned, but I would have plenty left for the next day's sales. The third and most cost-efficient way was I would take the train by myself, sometime in the wee morning hours, on Thursday night or Friday morning, in that area, depending on how you looked at it. Whatever the method of transportation was, I was ready for Friday night's rush. On this particular day, I had 70 dimes of dust by the time I hit the corner. I sold about 30 dimes in the first hour before everybody shows up. I had also smoked 2 dimes by myself. When they all showed up, it was Neil, Mike, Bo, Louie, Billy, and me. We must have smoked at least 5 to 10 dimes amongst us between who bought of me and the ones I just lit up. We were all dusted out of our minds and having a good time as usual. Once 7 o'clock came, we left the corner and we went wandering around the neighborhood. We hit the normal spots. We walked up 86th Street, took the avenue. We would walk up and down, as usual, from 25th Avenue to 17th Avenue, just laughing our asses off. Being rowdy and fucking around with people. Our first stop was always Sonny's on Bay Parkway and 86th Street. Every time we were high, we would go there and play video games, and everybody else would rob candy. As I mentioned before, this was my corner. Nothing took place without our approval. After walking up and down the avenue 1 or 2 times, it was getting close to 11 o'clock. And almost time for Louie, Billy, and I to go to L'Amour's. L'Amour's was a rock club on 16th Avenue and 62nd Street. They played hard rock, and as most clubs, had a couple of bars and a dance floor. I loved going there because it was the only rock club around our area, and I was stuck always going to discos because all my friends liked to dance. Dancing wasn't my thing. I had 2 left feet and usually sat at the bar or leaned on the wall. Honestly, most times when I was in a disco, I was so stoned, I usually found a corner to go to sleep in. So, the 3 of us leave, and we leave the rest of our friends and head to the train station. We walked up the stairs to the station on Bay Parkway. And as we're waiting for the train, Billy says to me, "Why don't you roll a joint of dust?" My answer, of course, was, "Sure, why not?" That's a great idea. Wouldn't you know it, as soon as I take out the rolling papers and 2 bags of dust and I start pouring it into the paper, we see the light on the train. So I keep the papers and the dust in my hand until the train comes because it's half rolled already. I just didn't roll it up. It's in there. As soon as we get on the train, we sit down and I start to finish rolling. There is no one else in the car but us. I'm putting the dust in the rolling paper, and I do not notice a man who walks into our car from the adjoining car. Before I knew what was going on, he slapped the joint out of my hand. Billy's sitting next to me, and Louie is sitting across from us. Out of instinct, as soon as he slapped the joint out of my hand, Billy and I jump up, grab him, and slam him against the doors of the train. We rear back at the same time to begin to beat the shit out of this guy. But before we even throw a punch, he pulls out a gun, right out of his waist. Naturally, we back up. He yells at us that he's a cop, and that we better get off the train at the next stop. Obviously, we do what the man says. He's pointing his gun at us. He's the boss. The train stops, 18th Avenue, and we proceed to get off. We walk out of the car. All the while, I'm not taking off my eyes off the man with the gun. We get to the platform, and the train doors begin to close, and he stays on the car. Just as the doors close, completely shut, Billy pulls out a starter pistol out of his pocket, a cap gun, and sticks it through the conductor's booth window. The conductor, who happened to be in that car, jumps back, and the cop who's in the car dives on the floor of the train. The train pulls away, and we're hysterical laughing. Instead of getting out of the train station, we decide, let's finish rolling our dust and wait for the next train. We smoke the joint and are still laughing about what just occurred. We roll a second joint and light it up. Halfway through it, we see the train coming. We duck out the joint and the train rolls in. When the doors to the train, we're standing right in front of the doors to get on, me and Louie, and Billy's right behind us. When the doors to the train open, cops are everywhere. Before we can even move, one cop hits me with his billy club right on my nose, breaking it immediately. Louie gets hit by the other cop right between the eyes. Billy takes off down the stairs and is halfway over the turnstile, and a cop grabs him and they start beating on him. The whole time they're hitting us and cuffing us, they're yelling at us, "Where's the gun? Where's the gun?" Like it was rehearsed. Louie and I, in stereo, say, What gun? We have no gun. We didn't. After cuffing and beating on us for a couple of minutes, they put us in separate squad cars. Louie and I in one, and Billy in the other. Billy dropped the starter's pistol on his way down the stairs when he tried to run. While in the squad car, the two cops in the front seat are telling us how stupid we are and that we could have been killed over a cap gun. In my head, I'm saying to myself, fuck you. You beat on us even after we gave up and we were cuffed, you punk bastards. They take us to Coney Island to the transit police station. We find out they aren't even real cops. They're transit cops. Back then, transit had their own cops. Nowadays, it's one organization. They merged, and now all cops are NYPD. The cops that were transit cops back then were the cops who couldn't become regular police officers. So that's why I felt like, you punk motherfucker. When we got to the transit police station, they put Louie and I in a cell that was 4x4, and Billy was put in an adjoining cell, also 4x4. I had a broken nose and black and blues on my chest area. Louie had what could best be described as a dick growing out of his head, right between his eyes. He also had some black and blues. We were both calm and quiet and adhering to the fact that we were caught, and there isn't anything we can do about it. Billy, on the other hand, was a raving lunatic from the moment they grabbed him. From the minute they slapped the cuffs on him, he's been screaming profanities and at them and telling them, let me loose and I'll fucking kill all of you. Over and over and over, he would continue to say those words. We are now in 2 cages, and he still won't shut up. Cops have walked away. They're not even paying attention or trying not to. After about 20 minutes of him yelling and the cops asking him to shut up, they had enough. What they did next was something out of a crucifixion scene. 6 cops go over to the cell, open the door. They grab Billy, and for lack of a better way to explain it, they cuff him to the bars, crucifixion style. Like this. 2 are holding his arms up while he's handcuffed. 2 grab his legs, and the other 2 start hitting him with their billy clubs. No pun intended. Billy clubs. No pun. These were actual beat-on billy clubs. They hit him in the stomach, chest, and in the balls. This went on for a good 15 to 20 minutes. When you're on angel dust, sometimes you feel no pain. The whole time they were beating on him, he just kept screaming the same thing. Let me go and I'll kill you all. Uncuff me and I'll kick all your asses. Meanwhile, Louie and I kept telling him, Billy, shut up. Just shut up already. The whole time. When they decided enough was enough, they made sure to leave the cuffs on him until they locked the door to the cell, and they uncuffed him from inside our cell and outside the other cell. Now that I could get Billy's attention without him flipping out, I tell him good news. I tell him I have 20 dimes of dust stashed in my jacket. I had a Jordache jacket that halfway up the arm on the sleeve on the outside, you can see where it said Jordache. What the cops, nor anyone else for that matter, did not know was that under that Jordache name was a zipper with a little pocket. I used to stash a lot of shit in there. I tell Bill, why do you think I kept telling you to shut the fuck up? His immediate reaction was, light up. I tell him, let's wait a couple of minutes until some of the cops clear out, because the place was packed. In Billy's fashion style, he says, fuck them, light up now. I use discretion. A rarity, but I used it. And I say, we're going to wait till some of the cops are gone. Then I say, what are we going to roll with? In all the precincts back then, they had this hard brown paper napkins that they would give you to clean the ink off your hands after they fingerprinted you. We decided we will use that. Just as luck would have it, 10 minutes shift change time. The whole first floor clears out. And the only one on the first floor with us is the sergeant with us, behind the desk. I take out 4 dimes of dust, put them in a brown paper, and voila. We got a fat dust joint. We light it up and puff away. It takes all of 3 minutes and it's gone. So we decide to smoke another 4 while we can. 10 minutes later, we are very stoned. We hear the sergeant at the desk say, "What's that smell?" with a lingering "ew." And we get hysterical. Is it still just us and him? It is still just us. Sorry about that. It is still just us and him. So he can't leave the post behind the desk to check on us. After about 20 minutes, the next shift rolls in, and we hear every cop that walks through the door basically say the same thing. "What the hell is that smell? And why is there so much smoke in here?" We're laughing our asses off. Then one of the cops goes over to the sergeant, and they ask him that exact question. We stop to listen, and we hear him try to answer, but his speech is slurred, and he can't get the words "I don't know" out of his mouth. Again, we get hysterical. It so happened he must have gotten stoned off the smoke from what we lit up. We call that a contact high. Naturally, the cops come over to us. "What is that smell?" We tell them that the brown paper caught fire by accident when we were smoking a cigarette. Shockingly, they don't believe us. Then we hear a cop in the distance say, "That smells like angel dust." My cousin Louie gets all scared and says, "Oh shit, now they're going to search us again." I respond, "So what? They're never going to find my stash." Sure as shit. They come in, take us one by one to another room, strip search us, and check our clothes and jackets. They don't find anything. Then we see 3 cops walking the sergeant to the front door, and they're telling him, "Sarge, you should go home and get some rest." That's the last we saw of him. Hours later, they take us to Central Booking. We light up 4 more dimes at Central. Nobody knows nothing. The outcome after all this was we all go in front of a judge in night court. 3 days later, he gives us a fine for disorderly conduct. To this day, I don't think any of us paid the fine. Way to go, judicial system. And that's that night at Lemore's. Pretty wild night, huh? Jeffrey Dahmer's grandma. That's funny. That's funny, dog. Very funny. All right. After Lemore's, we're gonna move on. First, let me drink something because I sound terrible. I'm gonna get to the next chapter, but I gotta tell you what's going on in my life at this point before the next chapter. Frank, this next story is not in the book, but it must be because it dictates a lot of things that happens in book 2 and in book 1. He had rotting people. I know. I need a cigarette. I'm going to take 2 minutes. That was a long read. While I tell the story, I'll smoke. All right, here we go. Around the time of Lemore's, I have another Lemore's story. Maybe I should do that first. It makes me look really bad. Now we'll get to that. I think it's in the book. Anyway, when I hit 17 years old, now you remember Alicia, the woman who had the child with my father before he got shot in the head by that woman, Scotty. Oh, I'm sorry. Before we go to there, let's tell you what happened with Scotty. The woman who, remember if you paid attention, I wrote down who I thought what happened with my father, that she killed him. One day, when my father died a year later, this is all around the same time, the next 3 things that come up. I was 17 years old, and I'm walking to Bay Parkway and 86th Street. It's about a year after my father died. Who do I see at the bus stop across the street waiting for the B1 on 86th and Bay Parkway? And I'm on my corner, which is across the street, a 4-lane street, 2 ways each way. Scotty. that woman. I start running. Mind you, I'm always high, so I was high. I don't know what that morning, but I was high. I start running towards her screaming, "You killed my father, you cunt, you killed my father." When I reached her, I open hand smacked her. Boom! As hard as I could. She spun, banged off the bus with her head, turned around, and I hit her with a left. Boom! And I'm screaming, "You killed my father, you cunt." Everybody else now, all the other people waiting for the bus, have scattered. I rear back and I smack her again. Boom! I bang her head off the fucking bus. All of a sudden, from behind me, I get scooped up. Somebody picks me up and pulling me away, and I'm screaming, "Let me go! I want to kill her! Let me go!" And it's my cousin Bobo's brother, Jimbo, his older brother, who's like 2-3 years older than Jimbo. So he's like 22 at this point, 24. He's got me in his arms. He's dragging me away. He's going, "You're going to kill her." I said, "That's what I want to do. I want to kill her." And he's screaming to her, "Get the fuck out of here. Until I can't hold him. Get back. Get the fuck out of here." And then the bus pulls up. She gets on the bus and drives away. Never seen her again. But I'll tell you this. Within another year, she died of AIDS. So that story has to get in now. From that, we go to, which happens around that same summertime. I start talking to Alicia again. Remember, I wasn't speaking to her because she threw me out of the house. Because you remember. Anyway, we start talking again, and what happens is, one day I'm there, and you know I'm in and out. I'm sleeping there a couple of days a week. Nothing's going on. I think I was there when we got back together, maybe 4 days after I started talking to her again. I go there one day, and she's smoking freebase. I never did freebase before. I didn't really like snorting coke because I didn't like, because all that happened to me whenever I snorted from up, you know, in my lifetime, is my jaw would go like this. I didn't feel, that's all I felt. It was terrible. I hated it. So I never, very rarely did it. I'd rather be down and stoned. But I says to her, "Let me have a hit. Let me try that." I tried my first hit with her. And if you look at my description for this, I said sex. Well, here comes the sex. The minute I took my first hit of freebase, I was like this. Immediately. Now, I always, if you remember, my father told me I could have any woman that he slept with. Every time. Not one was I ever denied if I wanted it. Except for Alicia. Remember that. That's important. It's going to come all back to fruition years in book 2. So that's very important. Anyway, I start smoking freebase with her. And I start screwing around with her. We were doing tricks. I was 17 years old. She was 34. She had my father's son, my stepbrother, who was now about 1.5. So we did tricks. I used to bounce her around the kitchen like this. As we're smoking, my heart stopped beating. I mean, not stopped my heart. I stopped breathing twice from smoking that shit. Because we didn't just smoke. When we smoked, we blew it into a balloon. We took, whippets. We went up, we took 30 deep breaths, went up and down. And, you know, you get dizzy just from doing that. And then we do a hit, pass it back and forth, and we fucking the whole time. I did some crazy shit on this stuff when I first started doing it. Me and her, we did it. You know, I can't even. You can make a fucking XXX easy if I told you everything we did. Anyway, so I'm with her now, and we're doing this for a good 8 months. 8 months we're together. I'm selling. I'm running out every night. I'm up for 2, 3, 4 days sometimes. And when we want to crash, and we're up for a day or two, she had pills. She was selling pills, coke, base. She was selling, only thing she didn't sell was weed, put it that way. And we were making a ton of money. So we had a guy who used to fly in from Colombia. He brought us a ball like this one day of coke. And he cut it open, he cut out the middle, and it was all pink. He said, this for you. You smoke this. You sell rest. You sell that, I never see you again. The shit was fucking... Anyway. I'm not promoting getting high. This was 40 years ago, so I hope YouTube doesn't get mad at me. You have a question, just give me a minute. Let me finish the story, and then I got you, Brad. Real quick. So anyway, we stay together for about 8 months doing all of this, and then the next chapter comes up. Go ahead, Red. Hit me with the question. I'll tell you whatever happened to Jason. Good one, Frank. I got you both. I'm going to get dogs first. Jason, when he was 10 years old, which would I can't really tell you yet because it gives up what happens next. It ruins what happens next. Why me and Alicia don't stay together, because me and her thought exactly. She was like my father. She thought like us. Her humor was like us. Her sarcasm was like us. How do you remember all this shit? Because, dude, this stuff that I did in my lifetime, every one of it was very traumatic. All of this shit. And I've been telling these stories since I was 20. You got to remember, when I went in the drug program, my stories didn't... Everything I did prior to that, even though I was high, was... You had to talk about that shit in the program. So all the stuff I did, I talked about in the program. But I talked about it in a different light. I cried about most of it. I cried my eyes out to counselors and other members that, fuck, man, look what a jerk, look what I did. I did this to this guy, I hurt this guy. And it was all over because and I cried like a baby. That's how I got better. And I learned how to deal with my emotions. That's why I'm a good person to talk to if you need. I never had emotions up until 20 years old when I went in the program. Once I figured out, and I happen to be, I'm not bragging, but I know for a fact, I've always been smarter than the average person. I think differently, I think faster, I think smarter. God gave me that gift. How does that sound? No, I didn't keep no diary. Up here. This is the diary. Dude, you listen to the stories, what's to forget? I start out at 3 years old. My mother getting punched, teeth knocked out, beat up. Even at 3, I couldn't forget that. Because it happened for another 4 years. So the memory was always fresh all my life. I mean, each one, you look at all the stories, they're fresh. That's why my book is the way it is. I wrote it this way. And you read, when I add new stories, that's all that happens is I do exactly that. I remember, oh shit, that happened too. And then, boom, that one comes back and that floods back in. And I'm like, holy shit, I remember that. And that's why I bring in extra stuff. That's why I say it all the time that with me, I could write 1,000 pages. I don't talk about my families in this. My mother's side of my family, which is, I told you, they're all fucking nuts. I could do half a book just on them. Then there's my father's side and the way they grew up. And then we still didn't get to where I start to have kids and the shit I did as an adult, because the adult shit I did as an adult, knowing what I know, makes you go, this smart man, he's a fucking moron. He's so smart, he's an asshole. And that's what people have been telling me my whole life. Ron, you're so smart. Why do you do this? Here's something for you, Frank. If we had the camera they have today. Oh, yeah. Dude, if there was cameras in the streets like there was today, my whole childhood would have been totally different. Totally different. We hung out in the streets every day, in the same neighborhood, breaking shit, robbing fur stores. People threw bricks through windows to rob furs, sneakers. They went into roofs with hammers and fucking crowbars, break holes in roofs and go down. My neighborhood was nuts. This was all in the same area that I told you about, from 26th Avenue all the way down to 16th Avenue. Same square blocks. Crazy shit. And nobody really got in trouble. Very rare. Very, very rare. All right, I'm going to the next story. I remember, it comes into what I just told you. A few of you will remember this one, because this one was, close to murder. This one goes here. All right. Big Mike. When I wrote 17, 18 years old. Oh, wait. I did already. I did that. I explained that. So I did all that. I did all that. All right. When I was 17, 18 years old, we were all hanging out on the corner of 831st and 86th Street. If you remember, that was my new corner for dealing. It was about 70 degrees with a slight breeze. I remember that because I had on my spring jacket. There was Neil, Dom, Mike, Bobo, Big Wayne, and me. You gotta remind me how I tell the story of how I met Big Wayne. We had a boombox, a radio, blasting on the corner. We were laughing and dancing and having a good time. We were high. I was wearing a light spring jacket that had 2 inside pockets to go along with the 2 regular pockets. I was dealing angel dust, cocaine, pills, and pot at the time. And this is at the time I was with Alicia. I didn't stay there all the time. I'd go out to make money and hang with my boys. Anyway, in the interior pockets is where I kept all the drugs. We had just finished smoking angel dust when Big Mike shows up. We knew Big Mike from Studio 54 and the Funhouse. Both of these were dance clubs. The 2 biggest dance clubs in New York at the time. They were both very big discos in New York. He was a bouncer at both clubs. Whenever he worked the door, we never had to wait to get in line. We never had to wait or get in line. Mike knows that I deal. As soon as he shows up, he asks, "What do I have on me?" So I tell him. Now I know Mike. He usually buys some coke and some dust. He then asks me to sell him some dust. So I dip a cigarette and he gives me $20. When you dip a cigarette, what it means is that you have taken a cigarette, a Newports, because they taste better with the dip, and you put it into a 4-ounce vanilla extract bottle, which obviously doesn't have vanilla extract in it. It has liquefied angel dust in it. Once the tip of the cigarette gets wet, just the tip, you then proceed to immediately draw on the cigarette so as to make the liquid spread all over the entire cigarette. He lights up with us, so I decide I'll light one up too. After we finish smoking, we're all just hanging out, listening to music, bullshitting, and enjoying our heads. At this point, I'm doing a little snorts of coke here and there. I would just do a little on the back of my hand, bring it to my nose, and just a little bit. Told you, I didn't like this. With the dust, it evened it out. Between the coke, the laughing, the dancing, and the dust, I start sweating. So I take off my jacket and I put it on the hood of the car. Then I proceed to go right back to what I was doing. Approximately 20 minutes goes by. And then a customer shows up. He wants to buy 4 dimes of dust and a half a gram of coke. Cool. That means I get 50 for the half of coke and 40 for the dimes. In my head, I'm thinking $90, 90 seconds. So I tell the guy to wait here, and I'll be right back. I turn, and I head toward the car where my jacket is. When I look, I see the car is there, but my jacket is not. I immediately run over to Neil and Bo, and while yelling and getting angrier as each quarter of a second passes, I asked them if they saw my jacket. Of course, they said no. They were on the corner dancing and bugging out with me. Neil tells me to calm down. At that moment, there was no calming me down. I'm on the corner, cursing and screaming that somebody stole my jacket stole my shit out of my jacket. I calculated that whoever took my jacket is going to cost me about $400 in shit. And most of that shit is Alicia's. After about 20 minutes of useless looking for something that we all knew wasn't there, I realized Big Mike is gone. I start screaming, "I'm going to kill that motherfucker. I'm going to kill that motherfucker." Everyone who was there was telling me that Mike wouldn't do that someone else must have done it. I was not buying it. There wasn't any one of us who saw anybody pass by us and on the side of the street we were on. So I say to them, if he didn't take my stuff, then it was one of you. After that statement, everyone then, miraculously, all were in agreement. Big Mike was the culprit. An hour after, guess who's strolling down 86th Street, heading right back to Bay 31st, the corner where we are. None other than Big Mike. Bo and Neil see him coming before I do. Bo comes over and starts talking to me about nonsense. He's trying to keep me busy, while Neil runs over to Mike to tell him to get out of here before I see him. He doesn't take the advice. When I do notice him, he's already on the corner. I'm about 15 feet into the corner. As soon as I see him, I know he did it. When he was there before, he had no more money, and he wasn't as high as he is now. So I started toward him, fast walking pace, and I'm yelling, where the fuck is my shit? He is so high, he can't even get the words to come out of his mouth correctly. He mumbles, he manages to mumble, I didn't do it. I step to him and get as close as I can. The closer I get, the more he starts backpedaling now. On the corner of Bay 31st and 86th Street, the store that is there has a brick wall on our side. No windows, no doors, just brick. Mike ends up backpedaling all the way to the wall. All the while, I'm walking toward him, basically repeating the same sentence. Give me my shit or I'm gonna fucking kill you. He continues to mumble his denial. Just as a reminder, the man is about 10 to 12 inches taller than me and outweighs me by at least 140 pounds, maybe more. I finally had enough. After about a minute and a half by the wall, could have been 30 seconds, I was pretty stoned myself. I jumped up and I hit him in the jaw with a left. Without hesitation, once my feet hit the floor, I immediately jumped up and hit him on the other side of the jaw with a right. He was now blood trickling down both sides of his mouth, from here and from here. I got bony hands. And I got good, what do you call it? I can hit you where I want, basically. He continues claiming his innocence. I can see fear in his eyes, which makes me even more bolder. At this point, I'm like a fucking animal now. Bo and Neil are trying to yell stuff to me, like, Ron, stop, calm down. I heard them, but I didn't hear a word they were saying. My focus was strictly on hurting this man as much as I can and as fast as I can. Right after the right hook, I start screaming, somebody give me something to hit this motherfucker with. I start looking around on the ground for something to hit him with. I find a 16-ounce glass bottle of Pepsi. Yeah, back then they were made of glass. Right next to his foot. I pick it up from right next to the wall, run over it. I immediately jump up and I smash the bottle right on the side of his fucking ear, splitting his ear in half and cutting his whole head. Even though the bottle exploded on his ear and was in my hand when I did it, I didn't cut my hand. Right after I hit him with the bottle, I turn around and start yelling again. Somebody give me something to hit this prick with. All the while, my friends are standing about 10 feet away and shouting at me to stop. As I head toward the corner, looking for something else to hit him with, this guy I know, Joey Mangini, who, by the way, is one of the older crowd. He had to be about 28, and he was about 325 pounds at the time. He pulls up in his car. But Joey, he loved Ron. He used to tell everybody the name. Ron's got more balls than anybody. He'll fucking hurt any of you motherfuckers. So, he was about 25 feet from where Mike was leaning against the wall and bleeding and begging me to stop. Mike was so dazed, it looked like he couldn't walk away from the wall. I run over to Joe's car, lean in the passenger window, and proceed to tell him that Mike stole all my drugs and that I need something to hit him with. Joe says to me that he does not have anything in the car. So I tell him, give me your ashtray. He does. In the old cars, the ashtrays were made of metal. Just so you know. He does, and I run back over to Mike and begin hitting him in his face with the head with the ashtray. I then hear Joe yell back to me as I'm pounding on this guy, hitting him like this with the ashtray, and his head's banging off the wall. Ronnie, come here, I found a mallet in the trunk. Sure enough, I run, and I was fast back then. I run the 20 feet back to the car, and he hands me a solid rubber mallet. This thing is extremely fucking hard. I take the mallet, and I run back over to Mike, and I start pounding him. Boom, boom, boom. His head starts banging off the wall. I must have hit him at least 10 times. Most of the shots were either to his head or face. As he begins to slowly fall down the wall, Neil and Bo jump on me. Then everybody else does. And they're yelling, "That's enough! That's enough!" And now they got me in the air and they're pulling me away and they're going, "You're gonna kill him! You're gonna kill him!" In the rage state that I was in, my response while swinging that fucking mallet in the air, which was louder and evil pitched tone was something like this. "That's what I'm trying to do." While Neil and Bo are holding me, Wayne and Mike are helping Big Mike stand up. Mike walks him all the way around the block in his semi-conscious state at the time, and they bring him to the furthest bus stop they could, and they tell him to get on the next bus before I figure out where he is, and the beating continues. As it ended up, they got him out of there just in time. From the a whole bunch of stitches in his head. I saw I went off for a second. They had to sew his ear back together. His face was all swollen, and he couldn't see out of one eye, and they gave him a whole bunch of stitches in the back of his head. Mike never came around again. He also never showed up for any of his bouncing gigs. I, on the other hand, was still out $400 in drugs. Everything I had on me, except for the angel dust, belonged to Alicia. Real quick, the next one, because it coincides with that. Getting back to the drugs Mike stole from me, I had to explain to Alicia that I did not have the money for the drugs. I did not have the best reputation for dealing, and she knew that. No matter whom I dealt for, I always ended up smoking or snorting the majority of the product on hand, and I never paid anybody back. The only reason she even considered giving me anything to sell was because I begged her. We were sleeping together, I was living there basically, and I guaranteed her that I would not fuck up. I tried my darndest and explained to her that this time it wasn't my fault. Of course, she didn't want to hear it. She told me to get out of her house and not to come back. I did exactly what she said and did not see her for many years. What really sucked about it was that Alicia and I had become really close. She was kind of like a second wife. Around this time in my life, things weren't that good at home, only because I was doing what I wanted and Mom didn't like that. I didn't want to go back there. Every once in a while, when Mom would get fed up with me stumbling in after that, Mom, in and out of the house, used to give me the ultimatum. Without hesitation, every time she gave me the ultimatum, I'd put clothes in a plastic bag and walk out the door. Alicia used to try to help me, even after that. Knowing I was living on the streets and it was freezing out, she used to tell me if I got to her house by 10, I could stay there for the night. I never made it there before 10. She lived in a 3-family private house. She was on the 2nd floor. There was an outside porch that was accessible from her apartment through double doors, glass doors. On it was a 3-foot, 2-foot wide wicker chair, like this one, except bigger. Alicia used to leave a big comforter out there for me because one morning she had come out there and I was sleeping in the chair shivering. When she asked me how I got up there, I told her that I put the garbage can next to the fire escape, climbed up. From that day on, the comforter was out there with a pillow every day. Sometimes as a teenager, the decisions we make are not as important as we think they are. And that's that. Whoop. And that's that. All right, let me take chapter 35 where I kind of got quit saying what chapter. We're on chapter ago. What? No, I went 34. Big Mike was 35. And that little bit I just did is just an ending to the other chapter. It's not really a chapter. But I did label it chapter 36. The next one coming will be 37. Guido hater. Yeah, man. If they had the cameras back then, all that shit would have been on tape. But I would have been in trouble quicker. That's all. I just told you, Frank. We left off on 33 the other day. I just did 34, 35, and that little shit I did at the end was 36. Those two stories in between, I never gave them chapters. You know what I mean? They're not written. They're not in written form, those two chapters. The thing with Alicia and the other one. The chapters were Lamore's, Big Mike, and that last reading I just did, which I called that when I wrote the titles down, No Name. The one that finished up how me and Alicia ended our relationship. I thought I did. Let it be written. Let it be done. Yes, Frank. Frank, I usually do. I thought I did. My bad. My bad, brother. My bad. Listen, guys, I'm sweating to death. I mean, I'm literally dripping here. It's fucking hot out here. I'm done reading for today. It's too much. I can't do it. I can't do it, Captain. Am I Frank Hornet now? Let's move this back a little. Oh, yeah, we're just gonna bullshit now for a few minutes, guys. The next chapter will be 37. Let me show you, Frank. Here we go. You ready? Remember, those two I read in between don't count. They're not labeled as chapters. That was just information that was necessary that should be in the book. All right. Now, I don't know if you can see it. It's backwards. That's the first set of chapters. You could clip it, page it up later. Then it goes to these. Then it's this. Even take the notes down, Frank. You can have them all, buddy. You'll figure it out. I got faith in you. And then the last part, which I stopped in the first go-round we did on here. I didn't put all of these in there. The court, the final decision, we never did. All I did was give you that I was in the program. That's basically it. Everything else didn't, the last ones didn't go. So. I was like, it's called Ronisms. Ron Couture. Yes, sir. 34, 5, and 6. When and if I ever get it published, those two stories in there that I told, or the one story really about Alicia, will be put in there and everything will jump back a chapter. You got it? The story needs to be in there because it explains what happens afterwards. Without it, when I talk about Big Mike and the drugs and losing them, and then I talk about Alicia at the end, you're not going to understand it. So that has to be put in that spot. Everything that I do that isn't in a chapter has to be put where I did it, because it fills in the gap. It's because I told you, when I wrote it one time. I never went back to fill in anything, so I'm kind of filling in gaps now. It's called editing. Exactly, Ron. Ron's not smart when it comes to the words to use. My brain, for some reason... Nah, fuck you, Frank. I'm kidding. You're confused? I'm Ron. Nice to meet you, confused. You know my cousin, the Bibbles? Hari Bibble, Terry Bibble, the Bibble family. The Alpha beat up the store. The Alicia beat up story is part of what chapter? All right, listen. Nobody beat up Alicia. First of all, here's how it goes. If you go, give me the chapters. I'll tell you right now exactly what I did. You ready? All right. I read Lamore's, right? And then after Lamore, I gotta find the chapters. I'll do it right here. After Lamore's, I told you about Alicia. That's where that needs to be, because after that comes Big Mike. So that needs to be after L'Amour's, the Alicia story before Big Mike. Right in between those two. Is that, are you up to date, Boobala? Boobala? Boobala, oh, Scotty. That happens, Scotty, the woman that killed my father, that happens right before that. L'Amour's, Scotty, Alicia, Big Mike. I think I cleared that up. Right. Yes, the lady who shot my dad. Correct. Yeah, I know. That was her name. I don't know how to spell it. I think that's how she spelled it. Scotty. She was a fucking skinny, hot blonde, too. Who said sorry? Wow, you're out of your mind, brother. You ready? I'll give you the chapter numbers. It goes. Where's L'Amour's? L'Amour's is chapter 34. Got it? Unless you're fucking trolling me, bro. You're gonna... L'Amour's is 34. After L'Amour's comes the Scotty story. The woman who killed my father. I'm going to speak real slow. After that Scotty story comes the Alicia story. About the freebase and fucking and sucking. After the Alicia story comes Big Mike. After Big Mike comes that little thing I read at the end. It's called No Name. There's no name to it. It's just something I added. You can even call it that. Something Ron added. Or Ron's a dick. Call it whatever you like. I can't give you a chapter number right now, Frank, because that changes all the next chapters. You got what I'm saying? It would be, again, it would end up being L'Amour's is 34, so Scotty would be 35, Alicia would be 36, Big Mike would be 37, No Name would be 38, and then Guido Hater, the next one, would be 39 instead of what I have it listed as. So you want me to do it that way? That's how we do it then, the way I just told you. You got it? I'll say it again. 34 L'Amour's, 35 Scotty, 36 Alicia, 37 Big Mike, 38 No Name, 39 will be Guido Hater, Guido, Guido. I figured it out, Frank. You can't yell at me anymore. No, I just told you, Frank. Come on. We can do it that way, the way I just said. It works perfect. If you do it that way, because I'm going to eventually do that. The next time I read it, I'm going to read them in that order. Whether I do it privately or on here. So yeah, just the exact way I just told you, brother. You're the man. It's a good question. It needed to be cleared up. You are correct. But I gave you the numbers. You want me to do it again? Right. Good enough. No problem. No problemo. I planned on doing that anyway, Frank. Like I said, I'm remembering shit that isn't in here, and it's pertinent shit. Because it doesn't make sense to explain. Well, it still explains about Big Mike and the beating I gave him, but it doesn't explain the ending to that beating and why it fucked me up so bad that he stole those drugs. Because I ended up getting thrown out of where I was staying. I was living a nice life with her. I was making tons of money selling the drugs. All right, dude. Slow down. So I'll tell you what, Frank, do this. Don't worry about this right now. Do what you got to do. I'm going to do it again. So we have plenty of time. Whether I do it live or not, it doesn't matter. I'm still going to do it again. There's hesitations in the words. I'm going to definitely straighten this out. Pertinent shit, right. It's got to be in there. I'll do it, Frank. Don't worry about it, buddy. I'm not pushing you. Don't push me cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying hard not to lose my head. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep going on there. We got it. We're good. Yeah, no rush, Frank. No hurry on you. You do what you do. This isn't a finished product yet, so we're working on a semi-finished product. Look at it like that. And never rap again. You got it. It's something I like to do. Yes, dude. Not just the chapters 34. A lot of them got to be redone. I agree. I'm definitely 3 times the charm. I'm going to go one more time. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to do it live or I'm going to do it on my own time. Yeah, no problem, Frank. No problemo. What? I don't know how to say no problem in any other languages besides those 2. No problem. No problemo. My rapping career is definitely over. Thank you, Red. I got to call my agent and tell him. It's 10 to 3. Ooh. I got to pick this shit up over here. I will definitely call my agent and tell him forget it. Cancel the tour. I can't go. The tour is over. I got a finished product for you. Oh. So what else is going on? Anything going on with you guys? Or am I the only one who has a shit boring life? Now, anyway. Huh? No. That's incorrect. I have a total of 58 chapters, I believe it is. I added a lot of stuff on TikTok that comes in between. And I think I'm going to do it this time. And then I'm going to get it on paper. I'm not sure yet. I think the last one I have here, yeah, I got like 49 here. That's just chapter 49. But for some reason, I'm missing a whole bunch of them. I'll work it out today. Yeah, 3 o'clock. That's it. My grandson today, yes. Today's Thursday. She goes to work. So I'm out. I got to clean up out here. There was no freaking high-low game today. I wanted to play. But I can't do that and do this, so I could probably, but it's not the same. We got 7 minutes, guys. I'm going to shut it down. I wrote down a whole bunch of shit I wanted to do. I don't remember. I think I did, 4, 5, and 6. I was going to do 37. We got, let me tell you real quick. This is just a story how I met Big Wayne. Big Wayne was 6'4", not muscular, but a heavy guy. Not fat, just a heavy, big guy. Who had like curly hair, like a fro. One day, I'm in OTB and Neil, because Neil was a big horse player with me. Me and Neil were the horse players. Neil introduced me to Big Wayne. How you doing, Wayne? Nice to meet you. I don't talk to the kid because I don't talk to nobody I don't know, new, whatever. It's just the way I was back then. Anyway, about a week or 2 passes, week and a half. And I'm in OTB one day, and Wayne walks over to me and says, "Can I borrow $2?" I don't have money. I was probably in there because I had no money that morning, whatever. It was a bad day. And I tell him, okay, I've got a couple of dollars. So I gave him $2. About 3-4 days passes. And I'm in OTB again. And here he comes in OTB. And I tell him, Wayne, you got my $2? I got no money at all. I'm broke. It was early. It was like 11 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what the problem was, but I had nothing. No intention of robbing for whatever reason. Probably had no drugs that morning. And he tells me he don't have it. So I say, okay, no problem. Get it to me as fast as you can. I really need it. Then I watch him go to the window and put in bets. I see fucking 10s, 20s. He comes back. I said, what the fuck are you doing? I thought you didn't have my money. He goes, no, no, no. I said, fuck that shit, bro. You just spent all that money. And I go outside. I'm fucking pissed. You're going to spend $30, $40 and you're not going to get 50, whatever you spent, and not give me $2? You're out of your fucking mind. So he gets right outside the door. And as soon as he took a step out the door, I jumped. Bang! I hit him with the left. Bang! I hit him with the right. And he started bleeding. And Neil must have told him about me because I don't know the guy. And he wasn't a pussy, but, and I'm telling him, give me my fucking money. And my friend Bobby, little guy, 5'4", that I knew from the neighborhood, 40-year-old guy, had kids, comes out and he grabs me. And he says, Ronnie, what's going on? What's going on? And I explained to him what he did. And he looks at me and he goes, over fucking $2? You make thousands when you go out. $2? I said, yeah, Bobby, but I was broke. I got no money. And he's spending the money. He said, Wayne, is that true? And then Wayne tells him, it wasn't my money. Bobby says, Ron, I'll tell you what. I'll give you a fucking $10. Let the guy fucking leave. I'll give you $2 another time. I said, okay. Sure. $10. Tells Wayne, leave. Go home. Next time you come here, make sure you give him his fucking $2. And I laugh. And Bobby looks at me and he gives me a look like, you're a fucking nut. What's wrong with you? There's something wrong with you. He says, come on. We go around the corner and he lights up a joint. He says, here, calm your nerves. And he's smoking the joint with me. But yeah, that's how I met Big Wayne. So me and Big Wayne end up becoming friends. And later on in the book, you'll see shit happens. And he ends up being a solid guy. So that's Big Wayne. I always gave him credit. He ended up being a stand-up guy with us. He wasn't worth shit in a fight, except the fact that he was fucking huge and you couldn't take him down. But good guy. How's poker treating me, Red? So, well, I said earlier when I first came on, I've been playing for a week back on the site. I've won $115. I started out with 600 tournament points. I'm now up to 2,500 tournament points, so I can go in any tournament I want. Hey, Steaks, what's up? You have a good Thursday too, my friend. God bless. You know I didn't read today's fucking... Wow. I didn't read today's prayer. I'll read it now. Holy crap. I can't believe I skipped without reading the prayer. Sorry, Lord. We got it. Can't go the day without it. May 7th. 1 Corinthians 6, 19 and 20. Do you not know that you are not your own? You have been purchased at a price. Many of us need healing, this is the reflection. Many of us need healing in the areas where we have controlled or manipulated others for our own purposes in the name of doing good. We need healing for when we have been weak and allowed others to control or manipulate us. The prayer is, Lord, where I have compromised my values and am no longer my true self, the one you made, give me courage to change. Restore my confidence and dignity. For me, you already have. Glory to God in the highest. For those of you that need that, good luck. Thank you, Hi. I can't believe I forgot to do it at 2 o'clock because the prayer book that I used was underneath papers, so I didn't see it. That's why I forgot. It's the only reason. Other than that, I would have never forgot. Amen, Frank. Every day of the week, twice on Sunday. See, a lot of people probably come on here and go, he reads that because he's on the screen. No. I talk to God before I go to bed, when I wake up, and all through the day. Because I'm alone most of the day. So every time I get outside, and I go outside a lot, and I look at the sun, when it hits me and it shines on my face, it reminds me of the Son of God. So I have conversations all day long. All day. I get signs, and that's my business, but I got no problem testimonial-wise. He's done plenty for me, the Lord. been there when nobody else would even believe that that was him. I'll do it, Frank, damn it. Keep those cigarettes stuck. No, no more Iran. I've been making money. I've been getting lucky, I should say. I won in the poker. I won on sports betting. Yes, sir. You got it, Frank. I agree. I agree 482%. That's all I can do. I can't agree more than 482%, my friend. I'll give you that much. You're a smart man, Mr. Dog. I didn't find no old lady's purse. I probably stole it. No, I'm only kidding. I never stole an old lady's purse. I was with two people that one guy stole it, ripped it right out of her hands outside of a bank and ran away. And another guy who tried to steal it. And as he was running, people started chasing him and he threw it on the floor, but he got away. Good stuff, Frankie, babe. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And one of them happened to be my cousin Louie. Louie's the one who dropped the bag and ran. When he was 16, I think he tried to do it. Because this kid Gino, who me and Louie were with, when he did rob one and run, we didn't do anything. I just was there. He was doing it whether I was there or not. That was one of the things I felt terrible about, even being around. Oh. I could never do that. Anybody asked me to do it, I said, one of the few things I've said no in my life to do. Not many. That was one. I could not run up on some old lady. I thought of my grandmother. No fucking way. And I told him, if you're going to do it, I'll stand there. You're going to give me half the fucking money? You could say that. I don't see it that way, high stakes. I mean, Frank. Jason, who is 17 years younger than me, and I never grew up with him. I knew him when he was a baby, and then you'll find out later that I get to know him a little bit as a teenager. My brother Lenny, I grew up with my brother Lenny. We both, from the moment he was born, we were together. So he's my brother. I can't call him my half brother because we're brothers. I have a sister that my mother had at 40 years old. I consider her a stepsister. We didn't grow up together. I don't really know her. Jason was my dad's kid, yes. Lenny was John's kid, correct. But Lenny and I grew up with my mom. I protected my brother. That was my brother. We grew up together. Jason, like I said, after the incident that we just read with me and Alicia, I don't see him for 17 years. That's when I meet up with her again. It's 17 years. He's now 18 or 19. And she's 34 when I hook up with... No, she's 51 when we hook up the next time. I gave a little plot away from book 2. Yeah, we hook up again, me and her. 17 years later. Not much changed. No, Alicia's son is Jason. Lenny's in the beginning of the book. Remember? Be careful what you ask for. I know what you meant. No. It's the other way around. How could Lenny be Alicia's kid when, if you're following, you just said John's kid was Lenny. John was with my mother. He beat the crap out of her, knocked her teeth out. Right. Exactly. Really not hard to follow, Frank. You got too much going on, dude. You need to slow down. I'm kidding. All right, 304. Guys, thank you. Thank you for listening. I hope you're enjoying it. I gotta go. Right, exactly. Oh, really? Thanks, Frank. I wasn't sure. All right, bud. Hey, guys. Oh, gotta go. Talk to you later. Gotta go. 3:05. Grandson. Sorry. See you guys tomorrow. Or maybe tonight, you never know. It's a late tournament, 11 o'clock, so we'll see.